Stop. Don't spend that penny in your pocket just yet. What I'm about to show you could change your life forever. That 1999 penny you've been carrying around? It might be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not exaggerating, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. One collector recently sold a single 1999 penny for over $7,000. Another made headlines with a $25,000 sale. But here's the thing, there are still undiscovered 1999 pennies out there worth even more. And the best part? They're still in circulation. Today I'm going to reveal the secret features that make certain 1999 pennies worth more than a brand new car. See this tiny detail right here? This microscopic flaw that most people would never notice? It's the difference between a regular penny and one worth thousands. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how to spot these valuable errors, and more importantly, how to make sure you don't accidentally spend a fortune. The story begins in 1999, when the US Mint was working overtime, producing millions of pennies for the upcoming millennium. But in their rush, something extraordinary happened. Mistakes were made, rare, valuable mistakes that coin collectors dream about. During this crucial year, several major errors occurred that created some of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever produced. We're talking about coins so rare that even veteran collectors have spent decades searching for them, but here's what makes this story truly incredible. Unlike other rare coins locked away in collections, these valuable 1999 pennies are still out there, passing through cash registers, sitting in penny jars, and hiding in plain sight. Let's start with the most valuable error, the legendary wide AM variety. Look closely at the letters A and M in America on the back of your 1999 penny. If you see a distinct gap between these letters, you might be holding a coin worth thousands. But that's just the beginning. In fact, there are 5 specific error types from 1999 that can turn your penny into a gold mine. Speaking of gold mines, let me tell you about one woman's incredible discovery last year. She was cleaning out her daughter's piggy bank when she noticed something unusual about a 1999 penny. That single coin ended up selling for $52,000 at auction. Just imagine, a college education fund, hiding in a child's piggy bank. But before I reveal exactly how she spotted this valuable coin, let's talk about what makes these 1999 pennies so special. First, we have the double die errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin creates a distinct doubling effect on the letters or numbers. In 1999, several different double die varieties were discovered, some selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Look carefully at the word Liberty on your penny. Do you see any doubling? How about in God We Trust? These are the areas where the most valuable errors appear. But here's something most people don't know, the most valuable 1999 penny errors often combine multiple mistakes. When you find a wide AM variety that also shows doubling, that's when you're looking at serious money. At a recent auction, a 1999 penny with both these errors sold for an astounding amount. But before I reveal that price, let me show you something even more interesting. Die cracks and cuds. These unusual raised lines and bumps on the coin's surface might look like damage, but they're actually valuable mint errors. In 1999, several distinctive die crack patterns were documented, including the famous spiked head variety where Lincoln appears to be wearing a crown of metal. Now, remember that woman with the piggy bank I mentioned earlier? Here's what happened. Her daughter had been saving pennies for 3 years. One evening, while counting the coins, the mother noticed something odd about one of the 1999 pennies. It had both the wide AM variety and a significant die crack. After getting it professionally graded, the coin sold at auction for $52,000. From a child's piggy bank to paying for a college education, all because she knew what to look for. Speaking of grading, here's another crucial tip most people miss: condition is everything. A mint-state 1999 error penny can be worth 10 times more than the same error in circulated condition. That's why it's essential to handle these coins properly. Use cotton gloves, hold the coin by its edges, and never clean it. I repeat, never clean your coins. I've seen collectors literally wash away thousands of dollars trying to make their pennies shine. I recently spoke with Tom, a collector who found a 1999 wide AM penny in his spare change. He almost spent it on a candy bar before noticing the error. Today, that same penny is worth enough to buy a luxury car. His story isn't unique. These valuable pennies are still out there, waiting to be discovered. Let me show you exactly what to look for when examining your own pennies. You'll need 3 basic tools: a magnifying glass, good lighting, and patience. First, check the reverse of the coin. Look at America. The spacing between A and M should be clearly visible. In the regular version, these letters almost touch. But in the valuable wide AM variety, you can see a distinct gap. Next, examine Lincoln's portrait for any signs of doubling. Pay special attention to the letters in Liberty and the date. Even slight doubling can significantly increase the coin's value. As you search, remember this: the more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin. But here's the catch: the date must be visible. A severely off-center strike without a visible date is worth far less than one where you can see 1999. Now, remember that auction price I promised to reveal? The 1999 penny with combined wide AM and doubled die errors? It sold for an incredible $126,500. Yes, you heard that right, more than most people pay for a house, all from a single penny. Just last month, a viewer of this channel found a 1999 wide AM penny worth $3,000 in their car's cup holder. Another discovered a doubled die variety while counting their restaurant tips. These discoveries happen more often than you might think, but only if you know what to look for. Before we wrap up, here are 3 essential tips for finding valuable 1999 pennies. Check every 1999 penny you find. You never know which one might be valuable. Use proper magnification. Most valuable errors are tiny. And never clean your coins. You could destroy their value. And here's one final secret that most collectors don't know about 1999 pennies. Actually, this is so incredible that I'm going to save it for part 2 of this series. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. If you've made it this far, you're serious about finding valuable coins. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2, where I'll reveal the rarest 1999 penny variety ever discovered, one that could be worth over $250,000. Drop a comment below if you're going to check your pennies after watching this video. And remember, that copper-colored coin in your pocket might just change your life. I'll see you in the next video. Happy hunting! What if I told you that a single penny could be worth thousands of dollars? Not a rare ancient coin or a vintage collector's piece, but a penny from 1994, a coin that millions of Americans might have handled without a second thought. Today, I'm going to share something that could change the way you look at your spare change forever. I'm about to reveal why certain 1994 pennies are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. More importantly, I'll show you exactly how to identify these valuable treasures that might be hiding in your pocket right now. But before we dive in, let me share a story that happened just last month. Jennifer Martinez, a schoolteacher from Phoenix, was cleaning out her classroom's change jar when she noticed something unusual about one of her 1994 pennies. The lettering looked slightly different from the others, almost like a shadow or echo effect. That single observation led to a discovery worth over $1,500. And Jennifer isn't alone. Over the past few years, more and more valuable 1994 penny varieties have been discovered, each one worth far more than its face value. But here's the most exciting part: experts believe there are still thousands more out there, just waiting to be found. You see, 1994 wasn't just another year for penny production. While millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, something extraordinary happened. A series of minting errors and variations created some of the most sought-after modern coins in American numismatics. Let me show you what makes these pennies so special. First, we have the legendary doubled die reverse varieties. These aren't just simple stamping mistakes, they're highly coveted errors that can turn a 1-cent coin into a $1,000 treasure. When you look at a normal 1994 penny, the lettering on the reverse side should be crisp and clear. But on these valuable error coins, you'll see something fascinating, a distinct doubling effect, particularly in the words 1 cent and e pluribus unum. This doubling occurred during the minting process when the die received multiple impressions at slightly different angles, but the doubled dies aren't the only valuable errors from 1994. Some pennies from this year show dramatic off-center strikes, where the design isn't properly centered on the coin. While this might look like damage to the untrained eye, these off-center strikes can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if the date is still visible. Then we have the fascinating die cracks and cuds, raised areas on the coin caused by damaged dies. These imperfections might seem like flaws, but to collectors, they're treasured varieties that tell the story of how these coins were made. Now, let me show you exactly how to hunt for these valuable pennies. You'll need a few basic tools: a good magnifying glass with at least 5x magnification, bright lighting, LED works best, and a digital scale that measures to 0.01 grams. Start by gathering all your 1994 pennies. Look for both Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark, issues. Under bright light and magnification, examine the reverse side carefully. Pay special attention to the lettering. Any signs of doubling could indicate a valuable error. When looking for die cracks and cuds, tilt the coin under the light at various angles. These raised areas are easier to spot when light reflects off them at different angles. For off-center strikes, check if the design is properly centered on both sides. Remember, the most valuable off-center strikes still show the complete date, but here's a crucial tip that most collectors won't tell you: the most valuable 1994 penny errors often don't look obviously wrong at first glance. That's why so many of them go unnoticed. It's the subtle details that matter. Let me share another recent discovery that proves these coins are still out there. Last summer, Tom Wilson, a college student in Michigan, was using a coin-counting machine at his local grocery store. As he was feeding in his change, one 1994 penny kept getting rejected. Frustrated, he almost threw it away, but something made him take a closer look. That rejected penny turned out to be a significant double die error, worth over $2,000. And here's the amazing part: that coin had been in regular circulation for almost 30 years before anyone noticed its value. If you think you found a valuable 1994 penny, here's exactly what you need to do. First, document your find with clear, well-lit photographs from multiple angles. Never clean the coin, this can significantly reduce its value. Store it carefully in a soft holder, handling it only by the edges. Then, consider having it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, grading costs money, but it's worth it. A properly authenticated rare error can be worth hundreds of times more than an ungraded specimen. Here are some prime hunting grounds that most people overlook: bank rolls, especially from smaller local banks that might have older coins in circulation; estate sales, particularly in areas where older residents might have collected coins; and believe it or not, Coinstar reject trays. These machines often reject valuable error coins because they don't match the expected weight and size parameters. But perhaps the most exciting aspect of hunting for 1994 penny errors is that new varieties are still being discovered. Just when experts think they've documented every possible variation, something new appears. Last year, a previously unknown die crack variety was found in Texas, selling for over $3,000 at auction. Think about that for a moment. How many 1994 pennies have you handled in your lifetime? How many might have been worth thousands? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? Before we wrap up, let me share one final story that perfectly illustrates why these 1994 pennies are so special. Just 2 weeks ago, a 10-year-old girl in Ohio started checking her piggy bank after watching a video about coin collecting. Using just a simple magnifying glass, she found a 1994 penny with significant doubling on the reverse. That single coin, which she'd saved from her lunch money, was valued at $1,200. That's the magic of these 1994 pennies. They remind us that extraordinary discoveries can happen anywhere, at any time, to anyone. They prove that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone observant enough to notice them. So the next time someone tells you that pennies aren't worth anything, just smile and keep looking. Because you now know something they don't, the hunt for valuable 1994 pennies isn't over, it's just beginning. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on more videos about valuable coins hiding in plain sight. And leave a comment below if you plan to check your coin jar after watching this. I'd love to hear about what you find. Remember, in the world of coin collecting, patience and attention to detail are everything. Sometimes, the most valuable discoveries aren't made by experts with expensive equipment, they're made by ordinary people who simply take the time to look carefully at what others overlook. What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary penny from 1984 could be worth thousands of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true. Stay tuned as we dive deep into this fascinating story. The 1984 US penny coin might just be hiding a secret that could make you a fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only learn the shocking reason why some of these pennies are worth a fortune, but also how to check if you've got one hiding in your spare change. Trust me, you won't believe how easy it is to spot. Before we get into the details, let's take a quick look at the history of the US penny, a coin that has been circulating for over 2 centuries and is still one of the most common forms of currency today. The penny, as we know it, was first introduced in 1793, designed by the U.S. Mint as part of a broader effort to standardize American currency. At the time, the U.S. government was still figuring out how to manage its new monetary system. Early pennies were made of copper, and their design evolved over the years. The first pennies featured a figure of Lady Liberty, but the most iconic version of the penny, especially to modern collectors, features the image of President Abraham Lincoln. This design, which debuted in 1909, marked the first time a U.S. coin featured a president's likeness. Lincoln has graced the penny ever since, making it one of the most familiar coins in American currency. The design of the penny changed again in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The reverse side of the penny featured the Lincoln Memorial, which became a symbol of the nation's history and strength. But in 2010, the design changed again to the Lincoln Shield, which remains on the penny today. All of these changes reflect the history and significance of this small coin, but it's the 1984 penny that has caught the eye of many collectors, and for a very surprising reason. In 1984, the penny was still made primarily of copper, though the composition was changing to a copper-plated zinc material starting in 1982. This change wasn't widely known at the time, but it's one of the key reasons the 1984 penny stands out to collectors. The design itself, like the rest of the series, featured a likeness of President Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's the kicker: while most 1984 pennies are worth just 1 cent, certain varieties of the 1984 penny can actually fetch thousands, and in some cases, even more. So, what makes these 1984 pennies so valuable? It all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and errors. A penny's value is largely determined by how rare it is, how well it has been preserved, and, most importantly, whether it has any mint errors. A rare error coin can increase in value exponentially. Some rare coins can even be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even millions, depending on the error. Let's talk about the 1984 penny, specifically, and why collectors are so eager to get their hands on these coins. The 1984 penny became an object of interest for one reason: its potential to contain rare mint errors that could make it far more valuable than anyone would have expected. You might be shocked to know that certain 1984 pennies are worth much more than a penny. But what exactly makes them so special? The most famous error in the 1984 penny series is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the press, causing the image to appear more than once on the coin. The most well-known example of this is a double die penny, where the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are duplicated in a way that makes them look blurry or doubled. If you come across a penny like this, you could be sitting on a gold mine. This type of error is highly sought after by collectors, and some double die pennies have sold for thousands of dollars, but here's where it gets even more interesting. There's another error in the 1984 penny series that's even rarer than the double die, and it's worth significantly more. What if I told you that there are some 1984 pennies that appear to be made of a different material altogether? These coins have a unique copper-like appearance, unlike the typical zinc-plated pennies from the same year. This copper-looking penny, as it's called, is another extremely rare variant of the 1984 penny, and it could be worth much more than you think. So, how can you spot one of these rare 1984 pennies? Well, first, it's important to know exactly what you're looking for. The double die error is relatively easy to spot if you know what to look for. Grab a magnifying glass and examine the lettering on the coin. If the letters appear doubled or blurry, you may have found yourself a rare 1984 penny. Take a closer look at the phrase, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If the letters seem to repeat themselves, you might just have a double die error penny in your hands. But what about the copper-looking 1984 penny? This one is a little trickier to spot. Unlike the standard zinc pennies, the rare copper-looking pennies have a distinct reddish hue that makes them stand out. It's not just a typical discoloration from wear and tear. These pennies were actually made from an incorrect batch of copper and have a unique finish that collectors go wild for. If you find one of these pennies, don't just brush it off. It could be worth much more than you think. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so I found a 1984 penny with an error. What next? Well, don't just put it back in your wallet and forget about it. If you think you found a rare penny, it's important to take action right away. The first thing you should do is inspect the coin for its condition. Coins that are in mint condition, with little to no wear, are worth far more than those that have been heavily circulated. The condition of the coin plays a significant role in determining its value. If you think you have a rare 1984 penny, the next step is to get it appraised. There are a few different ways to do this. You can take your coin to a local coin dealer, who will be able to tell you if it's worth anything special. You can also take it to an appraiser or even send it to a third-party grading service, which will evaluate the coin's condition and assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is likely to be. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much is your rare 1984 penny worth? Well, depending on the error and the condition, these coins can range in value from a few $100s to thousands. In some cases, they can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. One example is a 1984 double die penny that was sold for over $100,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $100,000 for a single penny. And that's not even the highest price ever paid for a rare penny. Some 1984 pennies have sold for even more, making this a real treasure hunt for collectors. But there's even more to this story. If you found a 1984 penny, it's not just about the value of that one coin. There are other rare pennies out there, too, some even rarer than the 1984 version. Coins like the 1909 SVDB penny, which is worth millions of dollars in the right condition, and the 1955 double die penny, which is one of the most famous error coins in history. So, while the 1984 penny might be rare, it's just one of many valuable coins still out there in circulation. Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might stumble upon the next big find. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to review everything we've covered. You've learned how to spot rare 1984 pennies, recognize valuable errors, and determine the best way to sell your coin. Whether you have a double die error penny or a rare copper-looking version, these coins could be worth a fortune. So, what should you do next? Check your pockets, look through your spare change, and you might just find a valuable penny that's waiting to make you rich. But hold on, there's one last mystery that I haven't touched on yet. There's another major coin mystery from 1984 that I didn't even mention in this video. Want to know what it is? Stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive into rare US coins. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin-related content. And as always, keep your eyes open for hidden treasures. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket change. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.